Greetings everyone, Blackshaw here, welcome back to an episode of Rome Total War. Sure, I'm playing the Alexander expansion pack, which is on Steam a separate game, but you can count it as a part of the same, like, complete collection. Apologies for that, I had to sneeze. I made a small test between the previous episode and this one, because I found a trainer for this expansion pack. And sadly it works, but it doesn't work with the God mode option. So I'm gonna try playing through the historical battles,
Centuries before the birth of Christ, the citizens of the Greek city-states and those of Persia were uneasy neighbors.
Losing.
And by the end of the 6th century BC, many of the Greek trading settlements in Asia Minor had fallen under Persian dominion. 2 Persian military expeditions were beaten back by only the narrowest of margins at Marathon, at sea near Salamis, and at Plataea the following year. With the unifying threat posed by the Persians thus weakened, the victorious coalition of Greek cities dissolved into vicious infighting. Meanwhile, Philip II of Macedonia was building a powerful modern army with more heavily armoured phalanx and heavy cavalry for mobility. By 338 BC, Philip had conquered the whole of northern Greece, and the remaining Greek forces moved to counter this new threat at the Battle of Chaeronea.
I also tested, and the other options for infinite movement and they seem to be working, but I don't think it's gonna be worth it, so I'm probably just gonna play this expansion pack for 2, maybe 3 hours and just call it a day and return to the base game. Base game and Barbarian Invasion expansion pack, because I have a working trainer for them, which should be alright. Okay. I'll try to do my best.
It is 338 BC, and relations between the cities of Greece and the Kingdom of Macedon have broken down. Philip, King of Macedon, is on the move south, and means to bring the cities of Athens and Thebes to heel. Assembled against him on the plains of Chaeronea are the combined forces of the Athenian and Theban armies. Among their numbers are the dreaded Theban Sacred Band, an elite corps of 300 spearmen. Philip knows that their very presence on the battlefield will strike terror into the hearts of his men. But Philip has a secret weapon of his own. He is joined on his march by his son Alexander, commanding the elite Macedonian cavalry. Alexander is young in age, but exceptional in personal courage and ability. The cavalry under his command will be key today in finding victory. Philip knows that the Thebans will have to be neutralized, and quickly, if his men are to find the necessary resolve to hold back the Greek phalanx. The plan is for Philip to engage the main Greek line with the Macedonian phalanx. At the same time, Alexander will lead his cavalry against the 3 Sacred Band units by the river. Should Alexander fail to neutralize the Thebans or wander from his objective, the Macedonian army will likely be overcome. Alexander must find a way to defeat the Sacred Band with his cavalry if his father and country are to taste victory today.
Look super great. Obviously, it's old game, but I would say that it's still looking good.
General! Cavalry! 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 Attack! Attack quickly! Cavalry! Attack quickly! General!
Well, let's see if that's gonna work.
Orders completed, Commander! March!
Well, we have definitely lost quite a few troops.
Ready! March! Move out! Get back in position! Unleash hell!
I should have. I don't know, maybe I should have like freaking went like no.
Your men take heart from your success against the Sacred Band, but there are 2 more units left on the field, and they must. The rout of the greater part of the Sacred Band is a joyous sight to your army, and is causing visible dismay within the Greek ranks. Your complete destruction of the Sacred Band has been watched with delight by your Macedonian comrades. The famously invincible vanguard of the Theban army has been annihilated in a day. But that day is not over. There are still enemies on the field, so go to the aid of your countrymen.
Unit, forward! Units! Units! Charge!
Yeah, but we lost quite a few. And I expect to like lose the other battles.
Units! Charge!
Okay, you are content. Run away.
Orders completed, Commander!
The enemy general is slain, and now his men fear us. It is time to press the attack.
Units, make haste! Units, make haste! Units, make haste! Units, double time! Units, attack!
The enemy show their true virtue. They are not soldiers, only frightened rabbits running from... This is a heroic victory, worthy of Greek soldiers.
Yeah, look. Only we had like 100 remaining. That was rough.
Having crushed Greek resistance at Chaeronea, Philip installed himself as the head of the League of Corinth. This gave him control over all the armies of Greece, and he immediately set about his long-avowed desire to reclaim the Persian-ruled Greek cities in Asia Minor. In 337 BC, Philip sent an advanced invasion force under his most experienced general, Parmenion, across the Hellespont to establish a foothold in Asia Minor. But in 336 BC, Philip was suddenly assassinated, and his young son Alexander had to move quickly to establish himself as undisputed king. Alexander immediately had all suspects executed, and then marched to Greece, where he summoned a meeting of the League of Corinth, and forced the city-states to confirm him as rightful heir to Philip. He then quelled minor uprisings in Sparta and Athens before turning north to quash the unruly barbarian tribes. And when the city of Thebes rebelled, it soon learned what would become of those who dared defy Alexander. He razed the city to the ground and enslaved the entire population. For the time being, Greece was pacified, and Alexander turned his attention to the east and the Persian Empire. The advance force under Parmenion had been held up by the Greek mercenary leader Memnon, who was fighting for the Persians. When Alexander arrived with an army of 40,000 men, he immediately confronted Memnon at the Granicus River. It is late in the day as a Macedonian army approaches the river Granicus. Scouts have reported a large concentration of Persian troops on the far bank. Horse archers from Scythia and heavy cavalry from Hyrcania and Bactria, together with mounted axemen from Barcania. Memnon of Rhodes, a mercenary officer, commands them. He has chosen the battle site well. The Granicus is in full flow, and its steep, slippery banks present a formidable obstacle. The Persians seem confident that Alexander will not try an attack so late in the day. The young Macedonian king has faith in the readiness of his battle-hardened troops for such a challenge. His phalangists provide a stable if slow-moving platform, their soft flanks guarded by the more mobile hypaspists. With the excellent Thessalian cavalry and his own famed companions, Alexander has the men to deal the Persians a heavy blow. His destiny balanced on a sword's edge, Alexander prepares to sound the advance.
How the frick do I even approach this?
Cavalry! General! Forward! Units! Units, double time! Units, double time! Units, vacate! Units, infantry!
Right.
Archers of Krieg.
Units, run! Units, make haste! Units! Units, make haste! Units! 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 Make haste! Time! Infantry! Kill them! Kill them! Attack! Infantry!
be praised! The enemy general is killed! Fear makes a home in our enemies' hearts! The enemy army is in flight! Pursue them! Drive them from the battlefield! This is a heroic victory, worthy of
Wasn't
great
really
soldiers!
Sure, I mean, sure, I'm playing on easy difficulty, but still.
After victory at the river Granicus, Alexander installed Callus, commander of the Thessalian cavalry, as satrap at Dascylion. He then marched south towards the cities of Sardes and Ephesos, which promptly surrendered to him. Next, he sent Parmenion west to subdue the other Greek coastal cities in the region, and continued south with his main army towards the city of Miletos. With the help of a vastly superior Persian navy, Miletos provided stout resistance, but Alexander eventually outmaneuvered the defending army and claimed the city. Accepting that the Macedonian navy was no match for the Persians in open water, he sent it home. Alexander would instead defeat the Persian navy by capturing all of its bases along the coast. He now marched south again towards the heavily defended city of Halicarnassus, where Memnon had been gathering another army since his defeat at Granicus. At this time, Alexander would not let Memnon slip from his grasp. The coastal city and port of Halicarnassus, 334 BC. With many Persian survivors from the defeat at Granicus regrouping within the strong walls, this could be a bloody encounter. Alexander is keen to avoid a lengthy siege, which would slow the impetus of his onslaught against the Persians. A determined assault against the walls by his hypaspists will allow his heavier troops access to the town itself. Resistance should crumble once the town centre is taken. But information as to the exact number and quality of troops within the city walls is limited. Spearmen and archers are being sighted on the walls, including Persian immortals who wield both spear and bow. There is also evidence of fodder having been gathered for a number of horses. Though Alexander has a formidable force at his disposal, he will need to proceed with caution.
Caution is not
A wrong
playing on
move
easy
here could
difficulty.
prove disastrous to his wider plans.
Siege tower! To the walls! Ladders! To the walls! Quickly! Ladders! To the walls! Quickly!
I have only one.
Units! Units! Double time! Infantry! March! Units! Units! Make haste! Units! Run! Units! Units! Make haste! Units! Missiles! Attack! Units! Make haste! They're attacking us! Men of Crete! Men of Crete! Destroy them! Infantry!
Notice that one or more unit banners have turned white. This is because the unit in...
They're attacking us!
Right, I would have expected that they would leave like a cavalry
Infantry!
unit.
Attack!
No, but the
Infantry!
game is like,
Attack!
holy
Quickly!
shit.
General! Attack! Infantry! Units! Infantry!
I should have expected this, to be honest.
Hold on, wait!
Yeah, I think this is like already done, so.
The taking of Halicarnassus gave Alexander an opportunity to consolidate his gains and to prepare for the trials which lay ahead. Parmenion was sent with a strong contingent of cavalry to patrol the coast and harry the Persian navy whenever they came ashore. Another officer, Ptolemy, was ordered to return home and gather reinforcements. Alexander then continued his march, accepting the surrender of several towns along his route before turning north for Gordium. Here he was rejoined in the spring of 333 BC by Parmenion and Ptolemy with their reinforcements. Gordium was home to the fabled Gordian knot, a knot so fiendishly complex that no man could untie it. In typical style, Alexander slashed it with his sword, declaring that it did not matter how the knot was undone, only that it was. Resuming his advance, and after a failed Persian attempt to halt him at the mountain entrance, known as the Cilician Gates, Alexander took the city of Tarsus. Here the Macedonian advance was delayed as Alexander fell ill with a fever. Encouraged by this apparent sign of weakness, the Persian king Darius gathered a great army of some 600,000 men and prepared to march in pursuit. Alexander recovered and continued his march along the coast, whilst Darius travelled through the mountains to appear unexpectedly at the Macedonians' rear, cutting their lines. Far from being intimidated, as anticipated, Alexander turned and force-marched to face the Persians. His comparatively small force came upon the vast Persian army on the banks of the Pinarus, on the cramped ground between the mountains and the sea. Darius's advantage of surprise had been lost, and the Macedonian swift march had caught the Persians in a place where they would struggle to properly deploy their huge army. Even so, the mismatch in numbers made the prospect of defeat for the Macedonian king almost certain. The river Pinarus, south of Issus. With the Persians in his rear, Alexander faces a seemingly impossible task. The Persian king Darius has taken the field, having lost so many of his generals in the Granicus defeat. He leads a huge army, drawn from all over his vast kingdom that greatly outnumbers the invaders. Amongst them are the Immortals, infantry armed with both spear and bow. There are also units of heavy cavalry from Bactria, mercenary Greek heavy infantry, and bowmen from Mardia. Crossing the shallow waters of the Pinarus in the face of the Persian army seems an impossibility. But Alexander is a shrewd commander. The Persians will find it hard to outflank his small force on this narrow battlefield. And the keystone of their morale is their king. The opportunity to break Darius and his vast army is too tempting for a man of Alexander's
Keystone,
heroic
yep.
temperament.
I remember playing Empire in Napoleon Total War. Like, I managed a few times at the very start of the battle. First freaking salvo of artillery took out the enemy general, and that was it.
Units! Units! Make haste! Units! Units! Make haste! Units, run! Cavalry!
Wait, we are also like archer cavalry? No. No, we are not.
General! Move out! Cavalry! Move! Cavalry! March!
Well, we are getting screwed.
We're being attacked! Units, run! Missiles! Attack! Move, move! Aye.
Creation ashes! Destroy them!
Units! Units! Charge!
Already lost like quite a few of them. Now I don't see a way to get through this fight. Get the spearman ready.
Units! Charge! Hold on, wait! Move up!
First they went out. Yeah, I'm freaking terrible at this if I don't have a trainer, so yeah, like look at the difference in numbers, like what the fuck? That was Isus.
Darius fled the wreck at Issus, heading east for the river Euphrates. And so Alexander resumed his strategy of capturing the coastal cities of the eastern Mediterranean. As the Macedonians headed south towards Egypt in 332 BC, they accepted the surrender of several Phoenician cities, including Damascus. The well-defended island city of Tyre did offer some resistance, but eventually fell when a mole was constructed to link it to the mainland. Angered by the Tyrians' defiance, Alexander had 8,000 of them killed and over 30,000 sold into slavery. A similar fate also befell the residents of Gaza, and in the face of such examples, any further opposition crumbled. The Egyptians had never been willing Persian subjects, and they welcomed Alexander, who in turn offered tribute to their gods. Alexander then travelled to visit the oracle at Siwa, who confirmed him as the son of Zeus. In securing Egypt, Alexander completed the capture of the entire eastern Mediterranean coast, and in 331 BC was free to push on into Asia in pursuit of Darius. But the Persian king had been gathering another huge army to his banner and was moving to block the Macedonians near the river Tigris. Alexander captured several of the Persian advance guard and was astonished to hear that the Persian army consisted of over 1 million men. Calling on the formidable resources of his vast kingdom, Darius had also summoned scythed chariots, elephants, and some 40,000 cavalry. He had also learned the painful lessons from Issus and set about deploying his troops near the village of Gaugamela on a wide plain where he could fully exploit the advantage in numbers. Undaunted as ever, Alexander marched with his men through the night to attack on the morning of October the 1st, 331 BC.
Fucking hell. I'm just gonna look how it looks. I just don't expect to play this fight until the end.
It is 331 BC. Alexander's campaign against the Persian Empire is now in its 3rd year, and has brought the young king many victories. Alexander continues to lead his army deep into unfamiliar Middle Eastern territory. He is still only 25 years old. His scouts have brought him reports of a Persian force close by. It is King Darius, out to avenge his defeat at Issus. He has gathered around him a larger army than Alexander has ever faced before, comprised of troops from all corners of the Persian Empire. Darius has deployed his army across a wide plain and has specially flattened the field of engagement to create ideal terrain for his chariots. Darius has lured Alexander to his chosen battleground, and his army far outnumbers Alexander's. The odds would appear to be stacked against the young pretender. But Alexander is confident. He knows his troops are superior, and he has a plan to exploit the weaknesses of both the Persian army and its commander. Alexander suspects that Darius lacks personal courage and knows that the superstitious Persian troops are unlikely to continue to fight on without their king. If Alexander can chase Darius into flight, as he did at Isis, the Persian army will likely fall into disarray. However, Darius is heavily guarded, and it will be difficult to break through to him. Alexander must outmaneuver or break through Darius's battle line in order to get to the king. Should he fail to rout Darius, the Persian army will march forward at full strength and engulf the Macedonians.
Oh, like what the fuck?
Unit!
Like go for maximum freaking flank?
Units!
Like I don't see any other way to...
Units! Run! Units! Units! March! Units! Units! Move out! Units! Forward! Units! Units! Stand in formation!
Of course. Fuck me. Yeah, I'm getting countered, like... Yeah, I'm just too stupid for those battles. Like, obviously they, like, you know, out-countered me.
After the defeat at Gaugamela, Darius fled to the mountains, gathering what troops he could. Though keen to pursue him, Alexander first secured the key cities of central Persia. Babylon and the administrative capital Susa offered no resistance, and in so doing avoided any rough treatment from him. The Persian royal palace lay southeast of Susa at the ceremonial capital Persepolis, with mountainous terrain in between. Alexander's general, Parmenion, took the baggage train along an easier but longer northerly route, whilst Alexander took the shorter route through the mountains. In a high narrow entrance, known as the Persian Gates, Alexander encountered a strong Persian force, commanded by the satrap Ariobarzanes. The Persians seemed to be in an unassailable position, but a local shepherd showed Alexander a hidden path, which enabled him to outflank and rout them. Defenseless now, Persepolis too surrendered, leaving the Macedonians free to loot its treasury and burn the palace down. Now Alexander was free to take up the pursuit of Darius once more. At camp one night, Alexander received word that Darius had been found bound in golden chains and close to death in a wagon beside the road. Unwilling to run any further, the Persian king had been stabbed and left for dead by his desperate generals. Alexander honored the dead king, burying him with full ceremony and vowing vengeance on his killers. It seemed that all that remained for Alexander's victory to be complete was to subdue what little resistance remained in northeastern Persia. Once that was achieved and garrisons were established throughout the region, his men may have looked to enjoy the fruits of their labor as masters of the known world. Alexander's ambition seems to have found a new focus at this point, and the first seeds of dissent among his men were sown. Decreeing that his men should each take a Persian wife, he seemed intent on integrating the Greek and Persian cultures. He had Parmenion murdered after executing his son for supposed treachery, and in Bactria he killed Clytus during a drinking bout. The core of his army remained loyal, though, even when in 326 BC his attention fixed upon India as his next conquest. In accepting the submission of the Indian city of Taxides, Alexander made an enemy of King Porus, who ruled the lands to the east. Porus gathered an army of perhaps 60,000 infantry, cavalry, chariots and elephants, and awaited the Macedonians on the far bank of the river Hydaspes. The river Hydaspes, 326 BC. Having conquered the Persian Empire, Alexander persuades his battle-weary army to march deeper into Asia. His army now boasts Persian recruits in the form of the Mardian archers and Scythian horse archers. The way into India is barred by the river Hydaspes, and King Porus guards the river with a huge army. Amongst the Indian army are large numbers of fearsome war elephants. Alexander knows that his army cannot possibly break through such a formidable defense. But several days ago, his scouts discovered another fording point several miles upstream. And Alexander has a plan. He camps his main army in full view of King Porus, and spends the next 4 weeks ordering large amounts of troops up and down the river. As expected, Porus follows their movements. Eventually, the Indians grow complacent and ignore the Macedonians. Alexander is now ready to lead a large force across the unguarded ford and take the fight to Porus.
Huh. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. And also, like, this map was like, holy shit, I already felt like the freaking like lag from this. Yeah, anyways, this will be like a longer episode, and then I will like try to go for like an hour or two playing the campaign, at least trying to. But yeah, for now, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed this episode. See you guys next time, laters.